難が降りかかってくるでしょう。だからこそ一番近くにいる者として彼の美しい世界づくりを阻む者は誰であろうが全て私がぶっ潰しますわ。
リシア様?
All right, my friend, we have Aristocrat episode number 5. This week's episode was called The Storm Arrives. And the storm arriving was Ars' betrothed or fiance. And first and foremost, I have to say, I was so, not taken aback because that's not the word. I was so enthralled in the comedic effect that it had when Ars' dad announced. He's like, oh, he's like, my fiance. He's like, yeah. He's like, the dad was like, did I tell you that? Did we cover that? He's like, no. So I love that Ars was completely in the dark, and he's just like, oh yeah. She'll be here by the end of the day. Treat her good, man. You know, I love that it was all like brand new news to Ars. The second thing I love is, you know, I think Charlotte's, you know, for a variety of reasons, but she's the best. And I like how she just grabbed Ars and she was like, no, you're supposed to be marrying me, Ars. And she's one part, I think, you know, in my mind at least, she's one part kidding and one part being so for real. And I wonder what's gonna happen. And I don't think we'll get to that point in the show, because at the end of the day, there's only 12 episodes lined up. We're about halfway through, so I don't think we'll get to see it. But you know, I would have to wonder in the future, like, would Charlotte end up being like a concubine or something like that, you know, for 2 Rs in the future? Because she's obviously holds Rs in like high regard and high esteem. And we know Rs kind of fancies her too, in a way. So it's like, will he entertain Charlotte being like a concubine or something like that? And will this new girl, will Leisa, you know, entertain that too? It just makes you wonder, because especially when she was following them, you know, she was definitely had some sense of a jealousy, I guess you could say. Is like, you know, because they were going through town and she was following her and she was like, I don't trust her. Like, you know, she's like, she's this, you know, she's this and she's that. And you could definitely tell, like, there was some legitimate, you know, jealousy between her and this Leisa girl. So that's why I really love that dynamic, and I'm really interested to see on how that ends up panning out. Okay, so the rest of the episode, though, there's a couple other things I want to point out too. Ars' father's sickness. We know that I think episode 1 they show Ars much older, probably around somewhere in the ballpark of, it's always hard to tell anime with age sometimes, but he's somewhere in the ballpark between 10 and like 18. I'm gonna guess he's somewhere in the ballpark of like 13 or 14 years old, somewhere around there. That's what he looks like, but again, it's anime, it's hard to tell. But somewhere between 10 and 18. They showed us where his father had died and he's taking over the family now. And they showed us that very early on. I think in episode number 1, they showed that to us. So we know Pops is going to die, which is very sad. And thankfully, this episode, at the end of it, he's like, oh, Ars is like, oh, my dad's, you know, he's not worrying about looming war. So he's feeling much better now. So that was a positive. But we know he's going to inevitably die, which is sad. And I kind of wish that Ars would maybe... I don't know. I'm just wishing. I don't know if anything will come or not come. But I would love for Ars to then go out in his domain, or maybe another domain or something, but go out and try and locate somebody with high medical skills, you know, medical attributes, so that way he can bring them to his dad to try, you know, make this dude live longer or whatever, and try and cure him or whatever the case is. And ultimately, you know, that'd be really great for him as well, too, in his longevity, if he finds somebody who has really high medical skills and really, you know, high medical talents. That'll just do even better for Ars later on. So, again, I don't know if that will happen, but if that was me, that's what I would be looking for. Again, I don't even know if that's a possibility, but that would be the one thing that I would learn. And if anything, I would go and try and visit different doctors or apprentices and see on what their talents were and see if it aligns with the medical field, and then try and find a diamond in the rough that way to, you know, extend my longevity myself, but then for my father and family members and all that too. So that's my thoughts there on the dad, but the dad dying is being really sad. Now, next episode, you know, it did kind of like give us like a little cliffhanger of shit's about to hit the fan. Basically, the next episode, you know, he basically, you know, he puts up his own flag. At the end of the episode, ours is like, oh, I wish these peaceful days would last forever. Immediately tells us stuff's about to hit the fan. And next episode showed him meeting somebody. It looks like he aged up again a little bit. And his dad is like testing him or something next episode. So that's, you know, that's going to be pretty interesting as well, too. So next episode, stuff's about to hit the fan. With this one, you know, 𝐿eisha came and it was some back and forth between him and 𝐿eisha. He didn't trust her at first, which is totally understandable because she has really high ambition and really high diplomacy. At the end of it, I won't spend too much time talking about the whole entire experience. At the end of it, they were able to meet here in the middle with ours being upfront about his ability, her being upfront about what's causing her ambition. And I just love how 𝐿eisha left there falling in love with who ours really is as a person and realizing that he is very, very, very kind. And I like how she basically says, like, if anybody deems to try and take advantage of my guy, I will destroy them. That made me laugh quite a bit, too. So, like, 𝐿eisha, go get him, girl. So I love that as well, too. But I love how she initially came into this place to go and just, you know, be amiable and, you know, forge a good familial, like, ties. But be like, hey, you know, I don't know about this whole marriage thing. But she ended up flipping the script when she actually got to know who he is, how he treats his people, how he treats his domain, how he views the world. Like, she fell in love with who he is as a person. And I don't think there's anything more important to somebody when it comes to this kind of marriage and bonding between two people than for somebody to truly fall in love with who you are. So I think it's really cool too. And then reciprocally, you know, ours is dealing with that first love as well too. Realizing that, you know, with high diplomacy and stuff, she's going to be, you know, not only very useful, but then how truthful and kind she is to him. He can feel solace in the fact that she's going to take care of him. He can feel that already. And you can tell he's falling in love with her. And I really love that quite a bit. So overall, episode fantastic. Really love this episode. Love how they took the time to really flesh 𝐿eisha out. Like how they set up father being sick at the front, stuff happening in the back. And next week is going to be quite the week. So very excited for what's coming next week's episode. All right, my friends, I'm going to see you guys next week for that. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. All right, my friends, I'll see you then. Peace.